afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Metropolitan Stadium.
Call it in the air, please.
Heads.
Heads, he called.
40 men together can't lose. Okay.
Following their sudden death defeat in their own home opener, Bud Grant's Minnesota Vikings had all they wanted last Saturday night in Tampa Bay's home opener. And if this pass to Morris Owens had been called a touchdown, a very tight game would have been even tighter. Although Fran Tarkenton threw 38 passes and completed 25, it was the Buccaneer defense which stole the show. But the Bucs defense has not yet learned to put points on the scoreboard, as the Viking defense did with this safety on rookie quarterback Randy Hedberg. In the end, what otherwise might have been a 3-2 victory for Tampa Bay was decided by a single Tarkenton scramble and pass to Chuck Foreman, as the Vikings escaped with a too close for comfort 9-3 win. The next day in Kansas City, Mike Livingston's high-scoring Chiefs got an early touchdown from Henry Marshall, number 89. But the San Diego Chargers, following their opening day shutout, finally got to show off some of the tricks they had promised in preseason. First, new starting quarterback James Harris threw his first touchdown pass as a Charger to running back Don Woods, number 33. San Diego's special teams looked especially tricky, mainly because for the first time, former Heisman winner and top draft choice Johnny Rodgers got a chance to show why he calls himself Johnny R, Superstar. Rodgers returned 7 punts for 130 yards, and another special team star, Mike Fuller, number 42, found a clever way to put the ball in the end zone. But the trickiest trick of the day for the victorious Chargers was pulled off by 6'8", 274-pound defensive end Leroy Jones, number 68. Said Jones later, "I don't want anyone calling me Wrong Way Jones. I was just trying to set up my blocks. All great runners do that." While the Chargers were making a spectacle of themselves in Kansas City, Bob Griese donned his spectacles in San Francisco. The better to see Nat Moore, number 89. Escorted by half the Dolphin offensive lineup, Moore scored easily from 32 yards out. His second touchdown came on an end around, during which his super swiftness was the most important ingredient. Nat Moore scored all 3 of Miami's touchdowns in a 19-15 victory over San Francisco. And no 49er even came close to touching him on any of the 3. Meanwhile, in Dallas, it was 106 degrees on the floor of Texas Stadium. And the Cowboy defense was just as hot, as they came up with 5 turnovers, which helped build a 28-0 lead over the New York Giants. In an eventual 41-21 rout, one of the few rays of hope for the Giants was the play of a quick second-year back from Morgan State named Bob Hammond, number 33. When it comes to quick backs, the Cowboys are now better fixed than almost anyone else in football. There's the always reliable 11-year veteran Preston Pearson, number 26, and his, quote, backup, unquote. Last week, his backup scored his first professional touchdown on an 11-yard burst up the middle. Tony Dorsett is not very big, but his impact in Dallas has been enormous. Coach Tom Landry says the more he plays, the better he'll get. And that's kind of a scary idea to contemplate. Dorsett's second pro touchdown was the Cowboys' longest run in the last 2 years. Giants coach John McVay wonders just how much better he will be. Each Sunday, George Allen seems to go on trial for the very same crime, stealing victory with a team of crusty old veterans. Defending his case, however, has grown more and more difficult, and last week it seemed as though the Atlanta Falcons might produce some damaging evidence against Allen's methods. Sparked by their upset over the Los Angeles Rams, Atlanta battered, then junked Allen's antiques with a surprisingly strong defense. Additional exhibits of Redskin deterioration were apparent when Atlanta's journeyman quarterback Scott Hunter, not known for his quick draw, outgunned the once infamous over-the-hill gang. But despite the Falcons' 269 yards airborne, the facts were conclusive. Redskins know the basics of victory. And so it was. The Redskins held when they had to, moved when they could, and incorporated every trick available to steal past the much improved Atlanta team. While this beauty was canceled by a penalty, another score proved effective enough to keep the jury in deliberation as the Redskins closed out the Falcons in a 10-6 triumph. Predictions concerning the demise of the Redskins are as old as the team itself, but when they will stay down for the count remains anyone's guess. In Cincinnati, the Bengals regrouped following their opening day loss by orchestrating the talents of Kenny Anderson and Isaac Curtis into a symphony of defeat for the Seattle Seahawks. 100 yards and a touchdown by this duo was music to the ears of Bengal backers. Yet it represented only a part of a balanced Bengal attack of well over 400 yards and 42 points. Results like these kept Cincinnati in command throughout and forced the Seahawks into a game of catch-up. Seattle's only success covered 82 yards as number 35 David Sims carried a Jim Zorn past the distance. It was an achievement the expansion Seahawks could have used more of, yet something Cincinnati's defenders deny. The final was 42-20, and while the Bengals were finally showing off their expected form for 1977, out in Los Angeles, the Rams were grooming themselves to look the part of a Super Bowl contender. When Joe Namath donned a Rams uniform, there were many reasons given for this team to be of championship caliber. But through a dismal preseason and an opening day defeat, there had been little to smile about. Last Sunday, however, the team with so much to prove finally began using its talent to drive home their point, and the result sent the Philadelphia Eagles into a nosedive. Crossing midfield but once, the Eagles were shut out, while Namath called his own shots and blended perfectly conceived drives into 20 points. in the end, Lawrence McCutcheon's ground power, Ron Jesse and Harold Jackson's speed at the flanks, and nearly flawless pass protection allowed Joe Willie Namath to show his adopted home folks the touch for which he is famous. With order seemingly restored as a result of their first win, Namath and his Los Angeles Rams were finally able to breathe a deep sigh of relief, a feeling shared equally by thousands of Ram followers. If nothing else, Hank Stram has given the New Orleans Saints a touch of class. Through 10 losing seasons, the Saints had grown accustomed to throwing in the towel Sunday after Sunday. But now under Stram, they actually entertain thoughts of winning. Last Sunday in Detroit, Stram's youngsters surprised a veteran Lion club with some rare play calling, such as this halfback option and keeper by Big Chuck Muncie. Unlike Saint teams of yesteryear, Stram's new-look club can force the issue and create opportunities. Here, number 37, Tommy Myers, blocked a punt with his face. No small sacrifice, as New Orleans took a 14-7 lead in period 2. But just when the Saints appear on the verge of respectability, invariably they lapse back into the style of football that has made them famous. Against Detroit, the Saints mustered only 92 yards of total offense. Not to be outdone, the Saint defense allowed nearly 5 times that total, joining the offense in mutual ineptitude. In outgaining the Saints nearly 5-1, Detroit's most prolific performer was number 24, Dexter Bussey. Bussey accounted for 150 yards rushing, the third finest individual performance of the 1977 season. In brief, Detroit dominated all facets of play, and in the end, their victory came complete with a dash of history. For on this play, number 88, Charlie Sanders, passed Lion great Gail Cogdill to become Detroit's all-time leading receiver, doing it in his own inimitable style. A satisfying conclusion to a 23-19 Lion victory. But while happiness reigned in Detroit, caution was the prevailing mood in St. Louis, where Don Coryell's Cardinals were hurting. Fortunately, while the Cardinal offense has been in limbo, St. Louis' much maligned defense has undergone a transformation. Last year, the Achilles tendon of Cardinal playoff hopes. Last week, a kick in the face for the Chicago Bears. The Cardinals held Chicago's conference-leading ground attack to a scant 100 yards. Meanwhile, Jim Hart and company looked for solutions to those nagging offensive problems. At times, the pass protection wasn't the best, and occasionally, improvisation replaced design. But St. Louis still managed to control the football most of the game. In the end, 3 Jim Bakken field goals and this rainbow from Hart to angular J.V. Kane proved enough, as St. Louis held on for a 16-13 victory. A game the Cardinals needed desperately to win. The kind of game the playoff hopeful Bears can ill afford to lose. In Green Bay, quarterback Lynn Dickey and the Packers likewise cannot afford to lose, for Packer backers have endured just about all the defeat they're willing to take. Last week against Houston, Green Bay displayed the kind of skilled execution that once made them champions. On this quick screen, number 84, Steve Odom, used his interference to perfection, picking up blocks from center Larry McCarron and guard Mel Jackson. A key block from fullback Barty Smith. A comeback block from tight end Rich McGeorge. and a double team from halfback Willard Harrell and tackle Dick Himes. Now that's the way plays are diagrammed on the blackboard. In the replay, note the way Odom hesitates, allowing the play to take shape before making his cut. Odom's 40-yard burst was Green Bay's only touchdown. The Oilers similarly could score only once, while both teams added field goals. Thus, late in period 4, the game was still up for grabs as Green Bay drove toward a potential winning touchdown. But cruel fate intervened as number 19, Willie Alexander, carried this interception 95 yards for the game's decisive score. Glenn Dickey played for the Houston Oilers during some of their leanest years. He knows full well the sadness of letting certain victories slip away. In the end, his former teammates were full of sympathy, an emotion made easier by the game's final outcome. This season, a Rocky Mountain high means more than pretty girls and powder blue sky. 73,000 season ticket holders are grooving on the new-look Denver Broncos and their recycled quarterback, Craig Morton. Morton had formerly flunked in Dallas and New York, but against the Buffalo Bills, he continued to impress the Rocky Mountain West. Tight end Riley Odom scored one touchdown, and running back Otis Armstrong set up another with his gift for open field improvisation. Equally impressive in Denver's fast start is the aggressive Bronco defense led by pugilistic Lyle Alzado, number 77. Alzado and his mates harassed the Bills incessantly, forcing 2 fumbles and 3 interceptions, holding O.J. Simpson to less than 3 yards a carry, sacking Joe Ferguson 4 times, and dealing out a year's worth of bumps and bruises. So what if nobody outside Denver thinks they're for real? The Broncos tattled off to a 26-7 put-down of the Bills for their second straight victory. Now all they have to do is beat out the world champion Oakland Raiders, and the division is theirs. Those same Raiders were in Pittsburgh last week for their annual bloodletting with the hated Steelers.